2002 with an undergraduate engineering program in biotechnology. In 2010, MTech was introduced to cater higher education requirement of students, and since then the department has been actively engaged in research activities in various areas of biotechnology and related fields, including research projects of UP Pollution Control Board and malaria vaccine development. Our department is also an authorized research center for PhD through AKTU Lucknow. We offer 92% placement to our biotech students in various biotech companies. So it is our privilege that we have with us Dr. Rahul Sahai, who is MBBS, who has done MBBS in 2005 and MD in psychiatry from KGMU Lucknow in 2011. He is the recipient of 5 gold medal, 1 honors, 1 distinction, and 10 merit certificates. DNB Psychiatry in 2016, and he has published 35 papers in 35 national and international journals. He is the author of 1 book chapter, and he has got 2 Best Paper Awards. That is Tara Naidu Award in IPS Central Zone in 2010 and GC Borrell Award in IPS North Zone in 2013. Currently, he is Associate Professor in Safdarjung Hospital. We are very thankful for sparing time for us. Now, I would request Dr. Rahul Sahai to start with the presentation.
Hello.
Yeah. Dr. Sahai, hi. Can you just restart your presentation? Just check on the Google Chrome, Google Meet window, and you must be seeing a restart presentation option on the bottom, right bottom.
Resume your presentation.
Yeah, resume your presentation. Yeah, right.
Resume present. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. Thank you. You can start, sir. Okay. Yeah, it's
So,
visible.
am I audible and visible?
Yeah, you are very nicely audible and visible.
Okay. Thank you, madam, and thank you to the IMS Engineering College for inviting me for giving me this lecture. It's actually a very great privilege to do a presentation for the students and all the colleagues and teachers. So, uh, we will be presenting on the discussing about the mental health and stress management in COVID-19 era. So in this COVID-19, everybody knows that we have been going through the lockdown 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it is going on unlock 1, 2, and I don't next unlock 3. So gradually there has been a lot of phases of this lockdown and unlock. Okay. So but during this all this lockdown and unlock period, there's a lot of things has happened, which only as a person we have known it. The thing is that there has been a significant increase in the mental health issues. We have in our OPD, we have seen the stress has significantly increased, both in the young age and middle age, and both in old age. So, other than the psychiatric problems, the violence has increased a lot in this period, and especially in students because of the uncertainty what will happen and what will not happen in the workplace, those who are working in the corporate area. So, we will discuss about in general how the stress affects you and what are the symptoms of stress and how the COVID-19 has affected you and how do you manage this by yourself. Okay. So this picture which I have tried to give in the front, this is shows that what happens when we are stressed. So when we study it in our exam, we work and we have a lot of pressure, we have a lot of stress. This is how actually what we think that goes inside you, our mind. Break the laptop, break the computer, and bang our head. So this is actually how we feel that the stress is affecting us. So this is me. I'm a psychiatrist and I'm an associate professor currently in the Department of Psychiatry, Safdarjung Hospital. So let's talk about stress. Okay. So what is stress? Basically, we need to ask to ourselves first. So, and why do you need to ask this question? Because to understand what is stress, it's very important. Because if we don't know what stress is, it's actually we cannot recognize it. And if we cannot recognize it, we're actually not able to manage this. Because management is the most important part of any illness, any suffering in this life. Okay. Because if you can manage it properly, then your quality of life increases. So, so what do people think about the stress? So this is basically I'm just giving a pictorial representation. What the general people think about the stress. Some people think that the pressure from the boss, senior boss, your teacher, your principal, your HR, the pressure of work, that is stress. Some people think that the work deadline, increase in the work, number of work which has increased over a period of time, that is actually stress. Some people think that the politics in the office, people gossiping behind you, they are telling lot of doing politics. This is stress. So do we actually know what stress is? So we'll talk about the actual definition of the stress. So here is the actual definition, psychiatric definition, what we say, medical term. Stress is basically the non-specific response of the body to any demand, to any perceived demand. The perceived means is very important. It is the individual's definition of demand. So some people can have uh, eh, even a small unit test can cause a lot of stress in the person. It can be highly demanding for a person. But sometimes you people see that some people have met to a lot of serious accident. They have lost whole their family, but it doesn't affect them. So the perceived demand is very important. How the person reacts to the particular demand to the body. See, that stress can be in your body is your mind and body's response or reaction to a real or imagined threat, event or sudden. So real or imagined threat means suppose you went to a jungle, you saw a lion. That's actually stress. There is lion, but suppose there is no lion and you are still stressed that कोई lion आएगा, कोई शेर आएगा, कोई tiger आएगा, they will affect you. So that is called imagined threat. So what happens in our day-to-day life? We imagine that अगर हमारा एग्जाम अच्छा नहीं हुआ, अगर हमारे यहाँ पे कल नौकरी नहीं मिली, कल कुछ फैमिली में कोई एक्सपायर कर गया, लाइफ में कुछ हो गया, ठीक है, सो मेरा ब्रेकअप हो गया, माय बॉयफ्रेंड cheated on me, my girlfriend cheated on me. These are all imagined threats. There can be real also, but sudden change in the situation of day-to-day life can cause a lot of stress in the life. And obviously, at the end, it matters that how every individual responds to that stress. Okay, it depends on the individual personality, its coping behavior. The threat, event, or change are commonly called the stressors. Okay, stressor can be internal, it can be thoughts, their belief, or it can be external loss, can be strategy, tragedy, or any sudden change. So in this time, in the last 4 months, the stress can be said that this is a sudden change in the day-to-day functioning because of the COVID change, COVID-19, lockdown and unlock period. So basically, I will just give you the how stress affects your body and your mind. Suddenly, any stress responds to a body in a three different stages. This is called alarm stage, resistance stage, and exhaustion stage. So alarm stage, we can say that you can compare this in your morning when you wake up in the morning, you put your alarm. कि तुमने alarm लगाया, alarm बजा, so you get ready. Okay, now we have to work, we have to start, we have to get dressed, we have to get fresh. ऑफिस के लिए जाना है या कॉलेज के लिए जाना है स्कूल के लिए जाना है तो it gives you a indication that now you have to start working. So this is how the stress affects you. The stress, the experience of perception of stress, experience of perception of stress disturbs your body's normal balance, and immediately your body begins to respond in the stress as effectively as possible. Okay? So suppose suddenly the stress comes, the your body starts reacting. Just like in the morning, you start get ready to do everyday work. Your body also starts responding to the stress. It responds by activating its various body systems. Your cardiac, your heart rate may increase, your respiration may increase, your temperature may fall down, you have a sudden increased adrenaline rush. Okay, now the stress has actually come, so our body has to react. Next stage is resistance. So suppose you went to school. In school, you suddenly have a serious fight. And how do you resist? You start beating that person up. You start defending yourself. So this is your body's internal defense mechanism. It's your psychological defense fights with the stress that comes to your mind, comes to your body. Uh, this is the stage where your body tries to cope or adapt by a process of repairing any damage that has been caused by the stress. Okay. So what are the behavior and psychological things that is being seen when the resistance stress? It's generally it affects your body. It can cause withdrawal. It can change your eating habit. It can cause a problem in your sleep. It can cause a lot of anger. It can cause fatigue. It can cause lack of enthusiasm. It can cause confusion. It can cause nightmares, and it can actually create hypervision. You are stay awake. You are worried about things. So this is your body is trying to cope up with the stress. Now the next thing is the exhaustion. Exhaustion is stress. It's like, so when just I gave you the example that you had a fight in your school, okay, and in your college, and in that, suppose you actually beaten or you have lost the fight. What happened? You are exhausted. You got a lot of injury in your body. You had a lot of morale down. Feel that something worse has happened, and you go to hospital to take care of yourself. It takes a lot of time to get. So similarly, in the psychological stress, the exhaustion stage comes when your body is unable to fight with the stressor that it has faced. So how this thing present? Then the body is not able to repair the damage. What are the symptoms? They have constant headaches. They are constantly withdrawn. They have developed insomnia. They have developed total body tension. They are highly irritable. They lose temper. They are excessive. They have the emotional other symptom that comes. They have tearfulness, they cry, they are very scared, they have severe anxiety, they have panic symptoms, they have a lot of guilt, agitation, depression, and this is how the body has react to the stress. Okay. So this is the whole three stages where the body responds. So when the exhaustion stage comes, the body has actually lost the battle to the stress. Your mind has actually lost the battle. This is how the stress cycle, we describe it as stress cycle. This stress cycle, what happens? This is a vicious circle basically. So you have a stress in your life. So your body reacts to stress. Either your body is about to repair that damage, just like at the resistance stage. But if it's not able to repair at the resistance stage, it goes into exhaustion stage, and it has caused a significant wear and tear of the body, both in the physical and psychological wear and tear. That is very important in this. And this wear and tear in body has caused a significantly impairment in their daily optimum health. Okay, so once you are down, your physical health is down, your psychological health is down, you have become more vulnerable to the further stress. You have become increased sensitive to the even small stressor. Okay, so suppose you know that, and because of the another stressor comes, and it again causes a vicious circle. It keeps on going and going until ultimately the person actually goes into some serious psychiatric. Okay? We're just giving an example. Suppose I just told you the example that you had a serious fight, your body had serious fight, and you lost a battle, you have got a lot of injury. So suppose what happens after that? What happens? क्या होता है कि आप घर जाते हो, घर में आपके पेरेंट्स हैं, किसी ने छोटी सी कुछ बात बोल दी, तो you get very irritable, you get very angry. So even small things cause a significant reaction by you. So that is called the increased sensitivity to the stressor. Okay. So you are already vulnerable, and small stressor can precipitate a severe reaction to you. Okay. So is the stress is bad? So basically a lot of people they are बहुत stress हो गया, बहुत stress हो गया. क्या stress actually खराब होता है? Actually it is not. Anything beyond a particular level and below a particular level is abnormal. So this is the normal stress graph. Uh, हम एग्जाम देते हुए परफॉर्म इन द एग्जाम, तो स्ट्रेस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर एग्जाम. इफ यू डोंट हैव स्ट्रेस you will not study. If you don't study, you don't perform well in your school. If you don't perform well in your college, then you will not get a job. So a right amount of stress, and how you respond to stress, how it is your perceived response to stress, that is the most important thing for your success and for your achievement of the mental peace. So if there is too much, कुछ बंदे होते हैं, they don't even take a proper, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, एग्जाम है चलो कोई नहीं, नहीं पढ़ रहे कुछ नहीं होगा, फेल ही तो हो जाएंगे, क्या होगा. What happens long, what happens at the long time, the poor performance happens, the pressure builds, and as a result, they are bored, unmotivated. They are not in long term. 10 साल बाद देखोगे, there are very few people who are actually reach success. They are mostly the unsuccessful people. If they are too much stress in this their life, their performance decreases. So a peak performance happens at the positive level of stress. Okay, moderate stress. So So anything beyond a particular level and below a particular level is harmful. Right amount of stress is actually helpful. And this right amount of stress is cannot be measured. It varies from person to person. Just like I told you, some person, even a small unit exam can be very stressful to them. For others, they can do multiple work. They can take a lot of pressure, just like you take MS Dhoni. So MS Dhoni in World Cup, in anything, he is so cool-headed. So any lot of pressure that cannot make him change his behavior. But you take the Virat Kohli, small pressure, small changes in the field, becomes very aggressive. So this is what happens with person to person. Okay. So some people think that yes, uh, I can handle things easily. It is actually easy for me to handle any kind of stress, but actually it's not. Some small stress can be easily handled, but you keep on adding all the stresses, the multiple stresses can actually causes in it accumulates a lot of things. So there's a stressful job conditions, have a lot of stress in your personal life, in your situation in life. Over a period of when it persists for a long period of time, it can actually precipitate to a psychiatric illness, or it can actually worsen your physical health. So how does the stress affects everybody? So the stress has a lot of effect in the various place workplace. In the workplace, basically, we have seen this is a 2012 data of US, UK, and they have found that 80% of employees suffer from work-related stress. Okay, and they have done a survey on the people who have been working in the UK in about corporate, government, and non-government organizations. 60% of all absenteeism. So, you might also see college students हो आप कभी कभी you feel that आज जाने का मन नहीं कर रहा. So that is actually can be because of stress. You are so fatigued that don't have the energy to go. 2,70,000 are off work for stress related illness each day. 1 in 5 people report their job as being either very or extremely stressful. Okay? About 500,000 people in UK report suffering from the illness. Their belief was caused mainly because of the stress. And stress is known to be the major cause of ill health, from mental emotional disorders such as anxiety disorder to psychosomatic disorder and major illness. How does stress has effect on the individual? Most of the individual stress they respond by various psychiatric symptoms. They can be unhappy, they can be demotivated, there can be absenteeism can be seen, they have a reduced performance in the work, they have a significant emotional burnout, emotional exhaustion, they have reduced sense of personal life. They always even they might be the CEO, they may be vice president, they might be getting very huge salary, but they will always be feel that "Arey, kuch nahi, there's nothing in life. Kuch nahi, I have not achieved it." Okay, they can't even see the positive side of this they are achieving. So quality of work over a period of time declines. Their depression develops, they become more irritable, more aggressive. So how the stress has affected the organization? The stress have affected significant part in the organization. Mostly organization and institute they don't recognize the impact of stress. They think stress कुछ नहीं है. Party कर लेते हैं. Let's they do a group party. They are not able to manage the small stress related situation. The main reason is because which ultimately the institution organization suffers. So they have high absent rates. They have negative public image. They have the reputation hinders. They have organization left with a workload that lacks in they lacks in skills and competency, and they have impact on service delivery. So every organization at the institute level, they are supposed to track people on whether they have stress, just like in our Safdarjung hospital and in AIMS also. So they have special center for the student welfare clinic. So there is specific clinic have been started for students because in medical colleges the stress is very high, the hours are very high, and the stress about studies are very high. So there is an increased depressive symptom, increased suicidal attempts in our Safdarjung hospital aims by the medical doctors. So we have student welfare clinics are there, whether MBBS student, MD student, or any student they can come directly and talk about emotional problem, and if needed they can be started on. We we track them better very early on. Okay, and even in our student we do a whole psychometric analysis before admission, so we can know who is the vulnerable person. We can keep a track on him at regular, so that we can prevent any untoward incident during their course. So this is what we have been doing in our Safdarjung hospital for our students. So now let's talk about the COVID era. How the COVID era has affected our mind, how the COVID era has affected our, it has become a reason for stress in most students. They present a psychological symptom. They can have anxiety. They can have multiple racing thoughts. They are very worried about everything, fear of unknown, feeling stressed. They have sadness. They are very irritable. Anger has increased. Restlessness has increased. They have been feeling helpless. Apprehension about going to public place, obviously because of the spread of COVID, and because of which this kind of lot of anxious people have increased. Anxiety has increased. The many physical symptoms has also appeared, that is because of the stress. They cannot concentrate. The sleep has impaired. Their appetite have increased. They cannot relax. They are not loss of interest in enjoyable activity. And then increased heart rate, stomach upset, fatigue, uncomfortable bodily sensations. Okay. So how does stress ultimately progress? So stress generally progress what we call the mental illness. So if the body, this I told you that about the cycle of the stress cycle. So if the body is not able to repair at the resistance level, then the body goes to the, from the exhaustion level, they go to a vicious circle starts. And since the vicious circle increases, ultimately they reach the stage which we call it the mental illness. And by mental illness, it's not that it's a very big thing. This is a very common thing. And the best thing is that they are treatable with all these latest medicines or latest drugs and latest treatment, latest therapy. It's when if we are able to catch the mental illness at the early stage, we are able to make people a very good quality of life, recover very fast. But the thing is that you have to recognize it, you have to accept it, and you have to seek it. So it is when someone lacks the ability to manage day to day, when we call them that they are suffering from mental illness. So when any psychiatric symptoms, everybody has some kind of psychiatric, but once they lack the ability to manage their day to day events or control their behavior, so that the basic physical emotion needs are threatened or unmet. तो जब तक उनके डे टू डे फंक्शनिंग इम्पेयर नहीं होता, तब तक हम वी डोंट आस्क फॉर ट्रीटमेंट. मेंटल इलनेस में जब हमेशा डे टू डे फंक्शनिंग इम्पेयर होता ही होता है. So mental illness is just like a physical condition, just like asthma, arthritis, diabetes, hypertension. But still, society believes that a person is mentally ill needs to show more willpower to be able to pull themselves out. So generally, it's a very common saying, नहीं यार डिप्रेशन हो रहा है, चलो पार्टी करके आते हैं. तो डिप्रेशन हो रहा है, चलो कहीं घूम के आते हैं. तुम थोड़ा सा बात कर लिया करो. Now I've been saying in the Facebook that there are a lot of sharing. I am there to talk to you. I am there to talk to you. So अगर उसे बात करनी होती है तो वो अपना बात कर चुका होता है. It's not about talking. It's about you have to take help. Because if you don't take help, the mental illness can actually worsen. If talking से अगर सारे mental illness ठीक हो जाते हैं तो अब तक there would have been no suicide, there no violence till now. Okay? The mental illness can affect a person from any age, race, sex, region, or income. Mental illness are not the result of personal weakness, lack of character, or poor upbringing. It is just an illness. Anybody can have it. Okay, this is just like you tell an amputated leg person to run across the room. So obviously you will not be able to run because a person who is having an amputation he cannot run. So similarly, a person with a mental illness, they have a broken brain that needs to be repaired, and that repair can be done by therapy or by medicines or by counseling. Okay, so but they need to seek help. And if they cannot seek help, you, as a family, as a friend, you should ask them to take help. So we'll give a basic description of what are the different mental illnesses that has been significantly affecting the daily people in day-to-day life. First, talk about depression. Let me tell you, depression is very common. Depressive symptom has been seen in around 20 to 30% of the population. So if you see that out of 140 crore population, we can see that around 50 crore population have at least depressive symptoms. Okay? Major depression that is present in 5 to 8% of the population. That is a WHO data. Okay, so 5 to 7% of the people. That means out of 140 crore people, of the population, 10 crore people are actually having severe depression, and those who need actual medical treatment. This data is basically by the ICMR and WHO both. Okay, and right now depression is the third most common cause of morbidity in the world, and it is expected that by 2030 This is a prediction by WHO. Depression will be the most common cause of morbidity in the world, and it will bypass the cardiac illnesses by 2030. And depression is just one of the 100 illnesses of the psychiatry. So till now, if you take the burden of all the psychiatric illness, it is the most highest than any other illness right now. So what is depression? Depression is just a medical illness, okay, that affects a person's mood to be down. We call it, it can be blues, or we localize it as just person is fed up. This depression is most common mood disorder affecting up to 20 million person each year. Okay. What are the basic symptoms and signs of depression? The most important thing, I just want to make it clear that if anybody has sadness, that is not depression. You should always remember that. हमारे लाइफ में बहुत सारे स्ट्रेस आते हैं, किसी के घर में कोई ट्रेजेडी होती है, किसी के घर में एक्सीडेंट होता है, किसी का ब्रेकअप होता है, किसी के फाइट्स होते हैं, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस होता है, एंड लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स स्ट्रेस जाते रहते हैं, स्कूल में फेल हो गया, कॉलेज में फेल हो गया, हर किसी को बुरा लगता है, एवरीबडी इज सैड, बट sadness is not depression. You should always remember that. We need to have at least two to at least four symptoms of all of this, and they should present for the most of the time for at least 2 weeks. अगर ये एक हफ्ते भी रहता है तब डिप्रेशन नहीं है. Okay, so what are the symptoms? There should be fatigue or loss of energy. There should be thoughts of death or suicide, attempts or suicidal ideas. This is feeling of guilty, hopelessness or worthlessness. They are not able to concentrate. They are not able to make decisions. They have the persistent sadness, anxious or empty mood. There's an impairment in sleep. They can have insomnia. They can have hypersomnia also. They have reduced or increased weight loss. They can lose appetite. They can gain weight also. In some patient, we see that weight gain is also very, because some people of depression, they start eating more during the 10 to 15% of the depressive patient, they have increased weight, and 80 to 90% have decreased weight. They may be irritable or restlessness. Okay, so I will be talking about some of the famous personalities who have actually suffered depression and who just removed the stigma. Okay, the ex England cricketer Andrew Flintoff, and he has said that depression is very crippling, and he have taken treatment, and he wanted to take retirement by that time when he suffered. And Ian O'Brien, his whole career, he suffered. There is a British cricketer, England, and he suffered because of the depression. He has left his one series in the midway because he had the active suicidal thoughts. He left, went to England, and then took treatment. And after that, since he never took treatment properly, he could not perform for the cricket. These are some favorite personalities: Angelina Jolie, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Isabel Churches, Anne Hathaway, Abraham Lincoln, and you know the Heather, the Joker, famous Joker of the Batman series. They all have depression. Unfortunately, we have lost Joker because he did not took treatment. Gwyneth Paltrow, we have Princess Diana, we have Jim Carrey and Halle Berry. These are some Indian famous personalities who have publicly come to the domain, and they have said that they actually suffered depression. They have taken treatment. Shah Rukh Khan told that he suffered depression when he had a cervical operation. Deepika Padukone have even started an NGO called Love and Laugh to help the people with depression. Anushka Sharma, Ileana D'Cruz, Randeep Hooda, and Honey Singh. These are all famous, but they have actually taken treatment for. They have actually recovered, and they are all now they are top performing self in their respective industry. Okay. So this is the something in the this is the old I have found a Journal of Clinical Psychiatry. This is data how depression has affected the world. So in Journal of Clinical Psychiatry, they published in 2004 that the overall burden of depression in 2001 was 83.1. Okay. So it has significantly affected the functioning of the whole system, whole economy. And in this 20 years, it has almost increased to 5 times. So, and 83.1 billion, you can multiply it 5 times. This is the current burden, right? If you don't take treatment, if you don't seek help, then you will suffer, the institution will suffer, and the whole economy suffers. So we talk about anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder is also a different group of illness. They generally present with excessive anxiety on surface. The person is always anxious. Just like I told you, anxiety is basically fear of unknown. You understand that? Fear of unknown means, suppose as I told about that lion example. So if you have lion, you are actually scared of it. That is called fear. So, but there is no lion, and you are scared that some lion will come and eat me. That is called anxiety. That's an imagined fear. Okay. So how is the anxiety present? This is very common. This is around 10 to 12% of the people. So out of 140 crore people, we have around 15 to 20 crore people who are suffering from anxiety disorder. And technically speaking, we see the OPD in Safdarjung. We have daily OPD of 300 to 400 patients per day. And out of the 300 to 400, we have around 100 to 120 patients around only of anxiety disorder. But they complain the main problem is excessive anxiety on the surface. They cannot concentrate on daily activity. They have an impaired performance. They have excessive worries. They keep on thinking about something. कुछ हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा तो ऐसा हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा तो ऐसा हो जाएगा. आज मैं सुबह टाइम से नहीं उठा तो ऐसा हो जाएगा, कल मेरा ऐसा होगा, कल क्या होगा, फ्यूचर में कैसा होगा. These thoughts cannot be stopped. These thoughts keep on constantly coming to their mind. They have persistently negative thoughts. They believe that something wrong is happening, and they have that negative thoughts, they have suicidal thoughts, they have panic like symptoms, they have repeated intrusive thoughts, they have depressive symptoms are also severe. These are the basically gross, what you call the, we have a psychiatric in WHO divided the anxiety disorder in various domains. It can be simple phobia. Simple phobia is basically fear of anything. The most common is a needle phobia. People has fear of snakes, fear of, I know that these are all commonly present. Okay. I'm not saying that any symptom you have, you need to go on seeking treatment. Everybody has psychiatric symptoms, okay? But these psychiatric symptoms should impair your day-to-day life. It should impair your personal life. It should impair your occupational life. It should impair your social life. Personal life, like that you are not able to sleep properly, not able to eat properly. So impairing that आपका डेली के डेली लाइफ आपका काम नहीं हो रहा है. You need somebody to help you out. Your occupational life आपका जॉब परफॉर्मेंस कम होता जा रहा है, आपका स्कूल में परफॉर्मेंस कम होता जा रहा है, आपका कॉलेज का परफॉर्मेंस कम होता जा रहा है, सोशल लाइफ की आप अपने सोसाइटी के अपने फ्रेंड्स फैमिली से कट ऑफ हो, आप किसी से बात नहीं करते हो. तो जब तक इम्पेयरमेंट हर फील्ड में नहीं आता हम उसे इम्पेयरमेंट इलनेस नहीं कहते हैं. एवरीबडी हैव साइकियाट्रिक सिम्टम इन दिस, but this should be severe enough to cause impairment. That is very important. And this should persist for at least 1 month in case of anxiety disorder and for 2 weeks in the case of depression. Okay. Phobia, they can be severe phobia, which can cause severe impairment. OCD, we have heard a lot about OCD. That the person have repeated thoughts, the thoughts of anything, any particular ideas, any impulsive, any thoughts to harm self, thoughts to others. Okay, they can have abnormal hallucinations. That hallucination may not be real hallucination; they can be pseudo hallucination. They can be post-traumatic stress. Post-traumatic stress generally you met a serious accident, and you this accident has become a part of you. You every day keep living on this accident. 2 साल हो गए फिर भी वो एक्सीडेंट को आप अपने दिमाग से नहीं निकाल पा रहे हो, जिसकी वजह से आप लाइफ में आगे नहीं बढ़ पा रहे हो. दैट इज कॉल्ड पोस्ट ट्रॉमेटिक स्ट्रेस. सोशल फोबिया इज बेसिकली फियर ऑफ परफॉर्मिंग इन द सोशल सिचुएशन. सपोज आज प्रेजेंटेशन है, अगर मैं आई इफ आई वुड हैव सफर सोशल फोबिया, मैं ये प्रेजेंटेशन देने नहीं आता. मुझे लगता है कि ये मैं बोलूंगा लोग मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे, लोग मुझे कुछ कहेंगे, लोग मेरी बात नहीं सुनेंगे, पीपल विल लाफ एट मी. और क्या होता है, आई वुड हैव मेड एक्सक्यूजेस एंड आई वुड रन अवे फ्रॉम दिस प्रेजेंटेशन. मैं फोन ऑफ कर देता, मैं लैपटॉप बंद कर देता. आई वुड मेक माई सेल्फ अनरीचेबल. दिस इज हाउ द सोशल फोबिया पेशेंट प्रेजेंट्स. Mixed anxiety and depression, they have both anxiety symptoms, they have both depression. Panic disorder, severe panic-like symptoms. They have a sudden 15-20 minutes of panic attack. Panic attack, people feel that they may die. They can't breathe. They have increased palpitation. They have increased sweating. Their हाथ गीले हो जाते हैं. So it keeps on repeating every day and every day, and it has significant impairment in their life. Okay. So how this anxiety disorder affects day-to-day life? They can cause sweating. They can cause chest pain. They have increased muscle tension. They can have dizziness. They can have rapid breathing. They can have severe palpitation. They can increase blood pressure. They have nausea or diarrhea. These are all basically regular seen in anxiety disorder. But when what happens in panic, this all symptoms happens in 15 minutes. So many symptoms happening in 15 minutes, so severe that person thinks कि मैं तो आज मर गया. This is actually happens, and this is very severe for the person, very impairing. And this is another part of the anxiety. The person doesn't sleep. He always keeps on thinking, please God, don't let the ceiling fan down on my head. I told you now, that is the anxiety. It's an imagined fear. He thinks that something will happen, the ceiling will fall down and I will die. But this is just a one example. He can have multiple thoughts. So this is about the OCD. This OCD people keep on thinking about one part. Okay, they can't stop thinking about the movie I saw last night. This is the things he keeps on repeating in his mind. He repeats so much that he is not able to work properly. So these are the basic symptoms of very disorder. Panic disorder, I just told you. OCD, excessive worry, and generalized anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder is also a kind of disorder. Or you have severe, keep on constant anxiety. This person is always on the edge. Is always anxious. He can't sit in one place. He feels that something wrong will happen. हमेशा नेगेटिव थॉट्स ही उसके दिमाग में आता है. ठीक है, कुछ भी बात करो, जैसे बोलो चलो आज मूवी देखने चलते हैं, बोले अरे मूवी जाएंगे, रास्ते में एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो. So a person who always keeps on negative things, he might be definitely suffering from anxiety. And that person needs treatment. But this is another part of the somatoform how stress affects. So somatoform disorder is just generally a medical term. I just give some simple example. So we give the example of somatoform as I call the mind-body connection. Okay. So how the mind is body and connected. So suppose you have a serious exam, you have been working for the exam, you read daily, you read about books, you were so stressed out. So you see that over a period of time you develop headache. Okay, you develop body pain, you are have body fatigue. Okay, you lose your food. Okay, you sleep impairs. Okay, so definitely this happens. हमने भी एग्जाम दिए, हमारे एग्जाम में भी हमारे साथ ऐसा होता है. So these are all called stress headaches. ठीक है. So mind and body, they are connected. Any changes in the mind can cause changes in the body. The mind is a software and body is your hardware. So any impairment in the software, your hardware will impair. Okay. So somatoform disorder is just like this. Somatoform disorder is this is the physical presentation of your internal stress. Or stress might not be actually there. Okay. This is a classical presentation of somatic. There is no actual stress. The person having some kind of internal stress. Since he is not able to feel or not able to understand that he is actually having some internal stress, his main presentation which is physical symptom. And physical somatoform, the word came with soma means skin. Okay, so the word somatoform is a problem with skin. The somatoform disorder comes because of the internal stress. It can present persistent headaches, it can be present persistent backache, it can be multiple body pain, it can be insomnia, it can be migraine, it can be fatigability, it can be poor appetite. So any person having constant physical symptom for very long and he is not able to find any cause of it, all the investigation are normal. So he is suffering from somatoform disorder, and this is mainly because of the stress. And in our 300 plus OPD, we have also around 100 patients of somatoform also. We have a huge number of patients referred from all the department for this problem. Ultimately, this is because of stress. Okay, and moreover, this stress is results in the increase in the drugs, increase in the addiction, alcoholism, smoking, cannabis. We have seen in our OPD during this period, the people have illegally and in black they have get alcohol, cannabis, and they have increased in very huge amount in this COVID area. This is the addiction cycle. The person has stress, they have anger, relationship problem, fear of fame. They act out by taking alcohol. They have guilt, and this guilt result in they have depression. And this acting out behavior is like taking alcoholism and drugs. Because of the drug, they have again guilt. They again develop depression. They again recommit. They again impairment in performance. They again suffer stress. This whole cycle keeps on going, and addiction problem increases. Okay, what happened in this COVID era? In this COVID era, the number of domestic violence cases is also, and that's a very important thing. So the person sitting in the home drinking alcohol for the continuous period, there are constant fights, there's a fear of insecurity of the job, fear of insecurity of life, fear of there is no social contact, no family contacts. So the domestic violence have increased over a period. In Tamil Nadu, they have said there are 616 compared to domestic violence. There's a 100% increase in domestic cases in India. There is a 700% increase in the number of calls in UK. The France has gained 30%. This is the data in till June regarding the number of suicides. There has been sharp increase in the suicide rate in this last uh, this sorry in these 4 months. In 2018, 2019, 2020, in 2020 already we have crossed more than 50% of the suicide rate compared to the previous year. Now, how do you manage stress? Here is comes the important part. So we have to manage the suicide stress. Stress basically we believe that there are three important things we think we can control. We think we can control the environment. We think we can control the people. We think we can control ourselves. We think that अगर मेरे बॉस अच्छे होते हैं, बॉस मुझे ज्यादा काम नहीं देंगे तो मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगा. अगर मेरे फ्रेंड्स मुझसे अच्छी तरह बात करेंगे तो मुझे स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा. और अगर मैं ऑफिस में कुछ रूल्स को एक बार चेंज करूँ तो मेरे को स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा. बट इट इज नॉट अबाउट द our environment, people, and our friends causes stress. It is about how we react to them. It is our reaction that decides that what is stress. Okay? So what we do to manage stress, we try that we ignore. हम सोचते हैं कि इग्नोर कर देंगे तो स्ट्रेस हो चला जाएगा. हम ध्यान नहीं देते अपने स्ट्रेस को. हम दूसरों पे ब्लेम करते हैं, अदर पीपल वो लोग कर रहे हैं उनकी वजह से स्ट्रेस होना है. उसके बाद हम सोचते हैं कि नेक्स्ट टाइम आई विल डू इट इन अ डिफरेंट वे. ओके. But every time you do it different way, it doesn't make the things. The stress will not go away. You have to learn new skills. Okay. हमें हमेशा लगता है हम थोड़ा सा और मेहनत करेंगे, थोड़ा सा और मेहनत करेंगे जिससे स्ट्रेस होगा. बट हमेशा वी नीड टू लर्न आवर बाउंड्रीज. हम किस लेवल के ऊपर हमारा स्ट्रेस बढ़ जाता है, हमें उसी लेवल तक स्ट्रेस करना चाहिए. इफ आई जस्ट लर्न दिस वन यू थिंक आई विल बी फाइन. हमें लगता है कि कुछ और सीख लो तो हम ठीक हो जाएंगे, एक और डिग्री ले लो हम ठीक हो जाएंगे. बट स्ट्रेस इज इनसाइड यू. जब तक आप to satisfy what you have, that is more important. So these are the basic techniques we say to avoid stress and stress reduction. Do regular exercise, give relaxation. Biofeedback is a kind of small machine we have. We give pass some electric current in your brain. This is small amount of brain and it reduces the body tension. Okay? We change our behavior. We try to adapt ourselves to the environment. We try to maintain a healthy lifestyle, eat properly and everything. How the organization institute needs to plan? They should provide a proper support system should be there. There should be proper communication. There should be proper work-life balance, and there should be a well-being approach. The leaders should be able to manage properly, and they should be a lead by example and take care of their juniors. And there should be always not always pushing kind of attitude should not be there. Should be a relaxed and positive outlook should be there. How to handle stress in COVID times? First thing, you need to acknowledge your feelings. You need to understand that what you are going through. You need to understand whether these feelings are right or wrong. If they're right, then go for it. If you're wrong, then try to communicate to others. Express yourself, do paintings, do music, do listen to music, watch TV, watch binge watching. Okay, stay emotionally connected. This you should not be socially connected and not physically connected. Talk to people, talk to your family, talk to your brother, talk to your friends. Remember, physical distance does not mean social distancing. Okay? You should not be, you maintain a social distance, but you should be emotionally connected. Talk to them. You take accurate information. There's a lot of fake information going on in WhatsApp, Facebook. Don't listen to them. Okay? So I find out the right information, what is done. Go to the ministry website. Evade paranoia. Don't be scared what is said in the news. Obviously, COVID is a difficult times. Avoid being scared. Watch, take a break, watch less news. Right now, from last 2 months, I'm not watching news. Okay, only in my hospital group, what I message I get, but I have not watched news till now. Okay, and set limits around news and social media, and entertain yourself. And ways to handle stress in COVID times. Putting things whether you realize what you have, what you don't have, and what तो यू एसेस योर पॉजिटिव थिंग. जो इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग आपको दिया गया है उसको आप रिकॉग्नाइज करो, उसको इम्पोर्टेंस दो, उसको टॉक अबाउट एवरीबॉडी. और अगर किसी को हेल्प कर सकते हो उसे हेल्प करो. अपने फिजिकल एक्टिविटी मेंटेन करो, डेली डे टू डे एक्टिविटी और डेली रेगुलर एक्सरसाइजेस. Do get organized. Keep everything in right places. This is the time where you make it get organized. maintain a good hygiene, take adequate rest, and maintain a healthy height. These are the mostly advice. Okay. So when to seek psychiatrist? When should we think of psychiatrist? Suppose you have all these symptoms for more than 2 weeks, you should definitely go for psychiatrist. Never, ever avoid uh, any help or evade any help or be ashamed of taking help. Everybody has taken help. If you don't take help, the thing can worsen. It can actually harm you and it can harm your family. If you have headache, body pain, backache, insomnia, you are increased in alcohol, drugs, cannabis, you have developed sadness, you have suicidal ideas and plans, you have become more aggressive during this period, you will have more anxiety, you have repeated negative thoughts, you have ideas of self-harm, you have fearfulness, suspiciousness, or you have decrease in the sexual performance or sexual feelings. So visit a psychiatrist right now if you have any of the symptoms or more than 2 weeks. So let's go for a big recap. Stress is a non-specific response of the body to perceived demand. Too much stress or too little stress affects performance very negatively. Things about which we have little experience or few skills to handle are perceived as more demanding. Suppose हम कोई नए सब्जेक्ट गए नए टॉपिक पे हैं, हमें लगता है कहीं कुछ बहुत टफ ना हो, but we need to go through that. We need to हम उससे जब तक experience नहीं करेंगे we will not able to handle that thing. Stressors are additive any point of time. Multiple stresses, small stress can make a big stress. Foundation of stress management is basically healthy lifestyle. Make a healthy lifestyle. Take care of yourself. Take care of family. If things worsen, seek a psychiatrist. Okay, this is what I like to say. Overall, mental is a issue that affects everyone. Hopefully, throughout the years, education will cover the stigma of this brain disorder, so that hate, bias, judgment, and discrimination will be gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saha, uh, for the wonderful lecture and for informing us about various aspects of stress, depression during this COVID period, and also the ways to control such negative emotions. So thank you very much for sparing your valuable time for us all.
Thank you very much.
Now I would like to invite our HOD, Professor Rashmi Chandra, for vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shomani. Good morning, everyone. I, Rashmi Chandra, on behalf of Biotechnology Department of IMS Engineering College, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Rahul Saha for delivering a wonderful and motivating talk on the mental health and stress management in COVID-19 era. I am very much sure everyone must be benefited. Thanks, Dr. Saha, for gracing us with your presence and taking out your valuable time. I appreciate the delegates, students, professors, and faculty for their participation. Also, I would like to extend my special thanks to Dr. Vivek, Mr. Peranjan, and Ms. Romani Parakar for arranging such an informative lecture. Last but not least, I also extend my big thanks to our whole department, including our bright students and each faculty members for their support and for making this talk. Thank you everyone.
We have few questions.
Sure.
Dr. Saha, we will be
Yeah,
taking
sure.
few questions, and the first question that we have got is from Ashwini Singh. What is the best way to improve mental well-being? Are drugs or therapy better for mental health conditions?
Obviously, first thing that is prevention is always better than cure. We should try to recognize what makes us stress. Okay, so you should avoid the situation that is stressful to us. But even if you develop stress and you have developed a mental illness, you should immediately seek help. Okay, so in psychiatry, what we have the depression, anxiety, in mild to moderate cases. Generally, we do therapies, psychological counseling. But moderate to severe illness, when the symptom is very severe, then the person is not actually in a mental state to accept the psychological counseling. So you need medicines. You need medical help. So once you take medicine, it will take around 4 to 6 weeks to get perfectly normal. Medicine starts responding in 2 weeks time, and in 4 to 6 weeks time is completely perfect. Then we can shift to therapy also. It's best seen the research has seen that the combination of medicines and therapy this two has caused a maximum response to the patient. And generally, a medical therapy generally lasts to around 9 months to 1 year of treatment. So you should not stop medicine once you have developed the illness, once you start it, and without the consultation of a psychiatrist.
Yeah, another question you have actually already answered in the presentation. It is from Bhagyashri, but still I would like to repeat that because she has written in the window. When do we
Mm-hmm.
come to know that we are actually in the state of depression? So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it mild stress or sometimes it may be mood swings. So when do we
Yeah.
come to?
We come to believe basically everybody has stress in their life. So, but thing is that when the stress persists and the symptoms of depression persist for longer, if the symptom persists for more than 2 weeks, or like we see that mild, moderate, depression, there are, if you go to net, I have given the all symptom in a similar way. In mild symptom, total 2 plus 2, three major symptoms, and there are seven minor symptoms. So out of two minor symptom and two major symptom we combine for more than two the way mild symptoms. In mild symptoms, mild depression, we don't start medicines. Okay. In moderate to severe depression, when we have all the three major symptoms and at least three and five minor symptoms. So total around six symptoms out of 10 symptoms are present for more than 2 weeks. Then we call it a moderate to severe depression, and we need to start medicines because without medicine, it's very rare. 90% people don't respond, don't come back.
Yeah, thank you, sir. These were the two questions that we had because most of the questions were already answered. And I hope everybody in this era of COVID were having some
Mhm.
or the other problems and they would have gained knowledge from this lecture.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating. Um, and you can follow us on the YouTube. There were links that have been sent on the chat box. So you can connect us through that link. And please submit your valuable feedback using the link which is given here in the chat window by Mr. Priyaranjan Kumar. For e-certificates, you will have to fill the feedback form. Thank you, Dr. Saha, and thank you
Thank
all
you
the
very much.
participants for making this webinar a wonderful event.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you very much.